Why do some people feel entirely empty inside, even when everything in their life seems perfectly normal? They wake up, they smile at their coworkers, and knock out daily routines. On paper, they are functioning perfectly. In reality, they are completely disconnected. We tend to imagine emotional distress as something incredibly loud and dramatic, like intense crying or visible breakdowns. But true emptiness rarely looks like that. Instead of a sharp spike in pain, it is an emotional flatline. It is a pervasive, heavy state of numbness, where both the highs and the lows simply vanish. That is exactly what makes this state so unsettling. It isn't the crushing weight of sadness. It is the terrifying realization that you aren't feeling much of anything at all. This kind of numbness rarely appears out of nowhere. It usually trails behind three specific triggers: chronic burnout, hidden loneliness, or a severe lack of authentic fulfillment. Think of emptiness as the mind's check engine light. It is a built-in alarm indicating something critical is running on empty. When a person endures prolonged burnout, their mental reserves are slowly drained away. Eventually, the brain simply lacks the excess energy required to generate any emotional response. If the issue is chronic loneliness, the mind is starved of meaningful connection, leaving a void where shared experiences and reflections usually live. And if someone lacks a sense of authentic purpose, even their biggest daily achievements will feel completely hollow and performative. Emotional numbness is never a random glitch. It is a highly logical, physiological warning system, signaling that the mind is overloaded or entirely starved. To understand how the brain actually executes this shutdown, we have to look at an active biological defense mechanism called emotional suppression. When exposed to constant stress, trauma, or unaddressed pain, the brain instinctively turns down its own sensitivity to survive the daily environment. But there is a fatal flaw in this defense. The human brain cannot selectively numb its emotions. If you suppress the crushing anxiety, you inadvertently wipe out joy and excitement right alongside it. The psychological result is a muted, distant fog. Nothing, neither the deeply painful nor the incredibly wonderful, can fully penetrate the individual's awareness. People in this state often describe a dissociative sensation. They feel like they are living their life behind a pane of thick glass, watching events unfold without ever truly participating in them. Chronic emptiness is the devastating collateral damage of a brain working overtime to protect itself from overwhelming pain. Faced with this internal void, human beings almost universally adopt the same strategy. We panic, fear the quiet, and seek out relentless distraction. We plunge into endless hours of screen scrolling, overwork ourselves to the point of exhaustion, and rely on superficial interactions just to drown out the silence. People frantically search their external environments to solve a problem that exclusively exists internally. The root fear driving this constant movement is simple. Sitting alone in a quiet room forces a person to directly confront the painful reality of what is actually missing in their life. Running from the silence only backfires. By constantly avoiding the discomfort, we reinforce the emotional suppression, ensuring the state of numbness deepens and drags on. If you find yourself stuck in this loop, it is critical to realize one thing. Feeling empty does not mean you are broken or uniquely defective. This state simply means you have been emotionally disconnected from your true self for an extended period of time. It is a symptom of survival. The first step toward healing requires actively stripping away the external noise. You must stop the distractions and sit in the uncomfortable silence. Through self-awareness, patience, and a willingness to simply listen, you begin to coax those deeply suppressed, distant feelings back to the surface. True emotional fulfillment begins the exact moment a person chooses vulnerability over protection and finally stops ignoring what they truly feel.